Good morning. I hope you guys doing well and welcome to today's edition of the London Session Open. Today is October 29, and if you're new to this, my name is Alejandro Zambrano. Let's take a look at the markets. The pound is down, the euro is down, and we'll see if we see any legs to this little move. And again, if you're totally new to this, we're going to do now, we're going to cover the Euro USD, GBP USD, dollar yen, crude oil, the price of gold, and S&P 500, and as well the German DAX. To give you guys a brief overview of what's happening in the market, it's going to be a lot of technical analysis. I'm going to try to let you guys know the levels where I think people are going to be buying and selling, and also talk a bit about the macro fundamentals. Now, what's going on here? Well, the Euro USD, this should not come as any surprise. So the market is in a bit of a downtrend. We talked about, in fact, on the way up from pretty much here, I was bullish and presented a few good opportunities to get involved and short sell. And then I was bullish up until here when the price traded below its low. When the price traded below its low, the price stopped creating these higher and higher lows, and it was just natural for the price to move down a bit. So it moved down and then went pretty much back up. Now we missed that little corrective move here, but there's nothing wrong with selling here, as we discussed already when the price traded below here. So the price is moving down a bit, and I think realistically we can probably just lower the trend defining level a tiny bit now to just above this high here. So that will be the new trend defining level, and I think we can push this down a tiny bit like that, and we can say like this, that if the market would visit something like this little spot here, which is the 110.98 level, then the trend is gonna be then people are probably gonna short sell. Take this level out, probably go a little bit lower to 110.40 or something like that, and that would be cool. Now this is very interesting as well. This is GBP versus the USD. So it's supposed to be another vote today. Yesterday, Boris Johnson failed again. Hasn't been have huge success to getting his ideas through at all. And he's gonna push for another idea or for another event, which is to try to get some. Sorry, I'm complicating things for myself now. He wants a new general election, of course. When? December 12th. S&P and Lib Dems have said they would probably or could potentially back this because they won an election on the 9th of December. Labor yesterday abstained from voting. Hopefully some of them will change their mind, because the way the system is set up right now, the way the votes are distributed, there's no majority for the government, and it really depends on a lot of smaller parties to gain and push through its ideas, and it's not really working, right? I'm not sure it's going to help to have a general election. According to the polls, conservatives will gain more, but I think it's actually Lib Dems and Brexit Party is going to take more seats. So what's going to happen is you're going to have a much weaker Labour Party, much weaker Tories, and then all these smaller parties are going to have even more influence. At one point, of course, one side is just gonna be enough. I'm talking about the people, and then whenever we have another election, the people will hopefully come through, unless it sort of doesn't happen. And there are some countries where you have minority governments for years, and that's not really a good thing. Not always. Sometimes I guess it's good as well. Anyway, technically here the picture is very easy to read. It's very straightforward. The trend is bullish by 129.89, and the Aussie dollar has been going lower lately. The New Zealand dollar has been going lower lately as well, and the euro dollar is clearly lower. So, would it be a big surprise if this also goes down? Definitely not, especially after the gains of the last few weeks and months. So a break to 127.89, I think that will hopefully be it. People that have been buying here are gonna give up on their bullish views, and you might potentially get away with a little scalp or so with a break to the downside, probably down, up, and then probably lower again. If you don't want to be too close to the action, then 128.80 is not your level. Probably focus on something like this, and then we'll see what happens. Probably a little bit lower, and then we'll see if it wants to go up or down. If we do have general election, I reckon that would create more volatility, so the pound will weaken on that. What else? Gold prices. Gold prices are in a little buy spot now. So the price was trading sideways here. and then decided to go upwards. Had some decent momentum, but as you've probably seen, like stock markets are up significantly. Nasdaq 100 new all-time high, Swedish stock market new all-time high, Taiwanese stock market new 2019 high, or German DAX is doing good. Pretty much everything is doing relatively good now, and we'll see what happens. I think realistically, maybe come tomorrow with the Fed rate meeting, maybe the Federal Reserve is going to be less nice with the market, and they don't have to cut if they don't want to, but they will probably cut because that's priced in. Most likely they're going to cut, and they maybe say they're going to have a bit of a pause. The market itself is anticipating a pause. They anticipate another rate hike, but by June of next year. So even the market thinks that rate cuts are enough for now. We'll see. Because you have some leading economic indicators, they're telling you that the future looks quite good. But you have the lagging ones, like the non-farm payrolls. And another one that's not lagging, but the ISM indicator, which is out on Friday as well. And if those numbers are bad, it could easily, ruin the mood. On the other hand, 200 of about 500, 200 of the 500 S&P companies have reported earnings so far, and only 16% of them have mentioned recession in their earnings calls. So at least if you look from that perspective, directly from the different firms in the S&P 500, there are very few of them, in fact just 16% of them, that are talking about recession right now. So maybe the leading indicators are wrong right now. As for stock markets, so let's just cover them and then we'll go back to gold. As for stock markets, this is the S&P 500. And we took out that high. You might remember the last idea that I shared with you guys was to buy here. That worked out really good. So pretty much at profit target area. I think if we go down a bit to the breakup point, maybe a little bit lower, I think people will be quite keen on buying. This is your weekly chart. And you can see that we're just trying to break above here. It might not hold, but it's a bit of an ascending triangle without a doubt. And here and in many other markets, they're all telling you that we're going to see a significant rally. And as a trader, sometimes you just have an obligation to trade. You don't always have to trade, but you have an obligation to trade because the reward is just so good. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't really care too much. You lose your 1% or 2%, whatever you like to risk. And if it works out really good, you make your 5 or 10%, which is really good. So that's what's happening here. As for gold prices then, well, gold prices, I guess because stock markets are trading where they are trading, there's just not a huge appetite of buying it. But you're dealing with a little bit of sideways action, bit of a bullish bias as well, about 14.74. So if you wanted to buy this, I think it's the time. But I suspect we might trade sideways here for longer. But it could also be a better bet than trading against stocks. So if you do think stock markets are going to come down, and if you think it's going to happen violently on Friday, then maybe accumulating a bit of gold here for a bit of a spike on Friday at 12:30 when the NFPs are out could be something. I forgot to cover it, but here's the dollar versus the Japanese yen. So the dollar versus the Japanese yen is moving down a bit. You might remember I said look to buy here at 14.80, 108.50 for this to go up. We reached that take profit area earlier today. It took a crazy amount of days. We turned bullish already here a few days ago. Well, not a few days ago. I think it must have been on the 15th of October or something. I said look to buy, look to buy, look to buy. And then eventually yesterday the market went up and we reached that take profit area. We're now going down a bit. And this is actually could be a very interesting situation because if you look at this from a daily chart, you have a big head and shoulders here with right shoulder and a left shoulder, and then you have the head, and you have this trend neckline like that. You could also just do like a horizontal move if you wanted to, and just sort of say, all right, if we trade above 108.95, then this is going to be really bullish. And this actually makes things really interesting because you have the short-term setup, which can offer you a very decent risk-reward ratio. Oh, sorry, can offer you a tight stop loss. So if indeed the market's all going to go a bit crazy and strong, then you have this here. So if indeed the market bottoms out from 108.70, which I'm looking at, and then hits this target, you're looking at 7.48 times risk reward ratio, which is it's a solid move. So keep a close eye on this today. About the German DAX. German DAX, we talked about the break here, pushing price to the upside. We still have not reached that take profit area, but I think we moved close enough. The market is going down a bit now, so if we go down to 12,805.9, then I think we'll be at a level where people are probably gonna start to buy again. Okay, let's see if you guys have any questions. So we have True Invention. Good morning. What do I think about the euro yen? Okay, we'll take a look at that. And we have Maine West saying good morning. Good morning to you as well. I hope you're having an amazing morning. And how about the dollar yen? So the dollar yen, we covered that. So it looks bullish. The risk reward ratio looking really interesting. I'm probably going to put a little bit at risk myself on that trade and see if it plays out. If it doesn't play out, it's not going to be the end of the world, but it looks interesting. And it's a little bit of a play that the dollar yen needs to catch up with stock markets. As for the euro yen, this is the euro yen. And the euro yen is actually in a little spot where I think it would probably move down a bit. RSI wise is overbought, and if you look at this right now like this, it does look to me you have a nice, like a double bottom. And let's just focus on the short term today. So you have this little rectangle, and on the break to downside, it suggests a 73 pip decline. I think in general, obviously in a bit of an uptrend, but I think here, let's just change the price feed for a few minutes. There we go. I'm not sure we can draw a parallel line here, but I think we can. So we're stuck in sort of this sort of channel, where I suspect that if we trade below here, we can have a bit of a bearish move like that. And I know as well, if you're looking from a bigger picture perspective, you have a bunch of channels here. I think it's this little spot here actually. Let me show you some different charts. This is an Anders pitchfork, and the Anders pitchfork has done a relatively okay job. Hasn't done an amazing job. It's done relatively okay. You can see price was capped here, for so far being capped here, and then the median line, you know, did a good job. So it's just a bunch of trend lines, and collectively they make a lot of sense with the price action. I actually sold a bit here on the blue line on October 11th. But as the price moved up, I closed that out. And now we're at that little spot again. And according to this pitchfork, we should probably trade lower. And there are different ways of trading this one. So you could probably sell up here at 121.25 with some stops just above if you wanted to do that. Alternatively, you can just do what we just said here, which is just maybe scalp this little section here. According to this, you know, break here should take you down to something like this level here, which is 118.85, and then you have that level there. But we haven't triggered that yet though, so I will probably wait and see what happens. Okay, so I think we covered all of our market updates today. Now, if you wonder where I'm at, so this is Investing Cube. So this is the site I manage. I set this up, this site, and I have a great team here that shares market updates. I told them the guys need to update things as something's happening, try to find a bit of an edge, and share that with you guys. Also share their technical levels, which they think are important. And most of the stuff here is all free, and everything is free actually. It's just you need to become a member, and it's very straightforward. You'll see it, for example, if I go like this. I'm not logged in right now. For example, this one. By the way, this you get subscriptions like that. For example, this one here is locked. You just need to register. Very easy. You come here, you sign in with Facebook, you sign in with Google. If you wanted to, you can fill everything out here and you put that little button here and then you're ready to go. So very, very straightforward. And then you can access everything. If you have any ideas, if you've seen a really cool feature as well on other websites and stuff like that you think makes sense, then let me know. One guy asked, why don't we create like a forum and things like that. So that's just one idea. I'm not saying we're gonna implement it, but that's one idea. So if you have anything you've seen that could make sense, it doesn't have to be in any Forex site, but anything else you would like to see, you think would be a cool feature, then let me know, and I can investigate. The best way to keep in touch with me is to just follow me on Twitter. So I'll send you the link for that. As well, if you are on YouTube, you can subscribe to this video. YouTube though is very weird, unfortunately. I don't know what's going on with it. I do my webinars and I subscribe to myself on one of the other phones, and then middle of the night or early in the morning or 24 hours later get a notification and I posted a video, which I clearly didn't. Not at that time at least. So this is a very good way of being linked up what I'm doing. You can as well on Android phones and things like that, it does work. But what you can do is you can subscribe to us. So let me show you how that works. We'll go to the BBC News to show you. So you would click on subscribe and then you click on the bell button. If you click on the bell button, you get a notification on your phone as I go live and as well as we publish any new videos. I only go live once a day, so it's not too much of messages. Alright guys, have a great day today, and for all my Arabic speakers, I'm gonna be on CNBC Arabia today, so if you want to catch me live on live TV, then check that out. I should be on air around, I think it's 2:45 London time. Okay guys, have a great day and thanks so much for your support. Don't forget to like the video on your way out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow same time. Cheers and bye bye.